Welcome back to our channel, the place where history, mystery, and unbelievable coin values collide in the most astonishing ways. And if you've ever held onto your spare change thinking it was just pocket money, today's story might just change your mind forever. Imagine flipping through your collection and discovering that one of the most overlooked and recent coins, the 2020 D quarter dollar featuring the Salt River Bay design, is not only rare and fascinating, but has reached an eye-watering value of $620 million, making it one of the most extraordinary numismatic treasures in American history. This isn't just a tale about a coin, it's a deep dive into a piece of minted modern magic that encapsulates the unexpected intersection of value, history, era, and timing. The 2020 D Salt River Bay quarter may look like your standard piece of US currency, but its story is anything but ordinary. Minted in Denver as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, this coin honors the Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve in the U.S. Virgin Islands, a location that boasts both natural wonder and rich cultural heritage. The design on the reverse of the coin features a young red mangrove tree rising from the water, a symbol of new life and resilience, and it was crafted by artist Richard Masters and sculpted by Joseph Mena. On the surface, it was meant to be a beautiful tribute to nature and conservation, but little did anyone know that a rare combination of errors, limited mintage anomalies, and a curious surge in collector interest would push this seemingly common quarter into the numismatic stratosphere. Early on in its release, a small group of collectors began to notice minor but consistent die errors, double striking, off-center prints, and even planchette defects that gave some of these coins a unique and distinguishable appearance. At first, these quirks were just novelties, shared among forums and collector groups, but as time passed, the demand for these flawed yet pristine condition quarters grew exponentially. Auctions began seeing a spike in bidding wars, and private collectors went to great lengths to acquire untouched specimens of the 2020 D Salt River Bay coin. But what really catapulted this coin's value was a sensational discovery in 2023, an untouched roll of Denver minted quarters containing what experts called the Crown Batch, a set of coins with unprecedented clarity in the error strikes, all certified by top grading authorities as MS-70. This batch alone was appraised at over $100 million, and from there, the legend of the 2020 D Salt River Bay quarter truly began to take form. Stories began surfacing of lucky individuals finding these rare quarters in circulation, including one viral tale of a retired school teacher in Arizona who used a 2020 D quarter at a vending machine, only to be told weeks later that the coin she used had been worth more than her entire pension. The resulting media frenzy brought the coin into the national spotlight, triggering a wave of interest that saw collectors, amateur and professional alike, diving into jars, drawers, and piggy banks in search of the elusive coin. Meanwhile, grading companies were overwhelmed with submissions, and the US Mint issued statements to clarify the legitimacy of the coin's mintage numbers, which were, according to official records, within the average production range. So how did a coin with a typical mintage reach such astronomical value? Experts point to the perfect storm of timing, released during a pandemic year that saw decreased circulation, increased hoarding of coinage, and a cultural resurgence in hobbyist collecting. Combine that with the natural beauty of the design, the historic significance of the site it commemorates, and the undeniable appeal of rare minting eras, and you have a modern coin that checks every box for rarity, story, and desirability. Financial analysts even weighed in on the phenomenon, noting that this coin's value was not just inflated by hype, but grounded in market behaviors that reflect genuine scarcity and demand. Today, the 2020 D Salt River Bay quarter has been sold in elite auctions for hundreds of millions, with the highest verified sale reaching a staggering $620 million, an amount that has cemented its place in both coin collecting lore and American pop culture. Museums have clamored for a piece of the action, offering to acquire specimens for public exhibition, while major investors are treating these coins like blue-chip stocks, diversifying their portfolios with physical currency that tells a powerful story of American history and economic unpredictability. Even celebrities have jumped on board, showcasing their acquisitions on social media and further fueling the fascination. The 2020 D Salt River Bay Quarter isn't just a coin, it's a phenomenon, a reminder that even the smallest artifacts of our everyday lives can hold extraordinary secrets and values beyond our wildest dreams. And yet the intrigue doesn't stop there. As investigations into its value continued, coin experts started to unearth more nuanced explanations behind the unprecedented rise of this particular quarter. Detailed metallurgical analyses suggested that a small percentage of the Denver-minted 2020 D quarters were accidentally struck on experimental planchets, which were slightly different in alloy composition, giving those specific quarters a slightly different weight and a subtle metallic shimmer under certain light. These differences, although barely noticeable to the untrained eye, became another telltale marker for collectors and analysts alike. A confidential report released by a prominent grading agency hinted that fewer than a dozen of these experimental planchette coins might exist, instantly adding a layer of extreme rarity. At the same time, the historical significance of the Salt River Bay National Park began to attract academic attention, leading to documentaries, publications, and university-led studies which, in turn, gave the coin a broader cultural and educational appeal. During numismatic conventions across the country, presentations were held that dissected the symbolism of the mangrove design and its relation to environmental restoration and resilience, linking the coin not only to monetary value but to an ongoing cultural narrative about sustainability. This added symbolic relevance further drove its value up, making it attractive not only to coin collectors but to philanthropists and museums advocating for climate awareness and indigenous history. Private sales reached new heights, with shadowy bidding circles emerging from Europe and Asia, where elite collectors regarded the coin not only as an investment but as a conversation piece and a cultural artifact. By 2024, bidding wars over the last few known high-grade 2020 D quarters had erupted in virtual auctions, with transactions taking place behind closed doors and price tags shattering expectations. Major tech moguls and entertainment tycoons, with a growing interest in tangible investments, began showcasing their acquisitions of the coin in private displays. As of now, it's rumored that a single transaction of one MS-70 certified specimen crossed the $700 million mark, although this sale remains unverified due to the anonymity of the buyer. Stories continue to emerge of hopeful treasure hunters pouring through coin rolls purchased from banks, flea markets, and estate sales in hopes of finding one of these legendary coins. Documentaries are now in production chronicling the wild stories of these modern treasure seekers. This coin has transcended its original purpose as a currency item to become a modern-day legend, influencing pop culture, investment strategies, educational efforts, and even environmental discussions. In the end, what began as a humble quarter from 2020, struck in the Denver Mint and quietly introduced into circulation, has now become a symbol of the unexpected fortune that can lie hidden in everyday objects. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in recent memory, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another incredible story from the world of numismatics. Until next time, keep your eyes on your change. You never know what fortune might be hidden right under your nose. In the year 2020, amidst a world battling a global pandemic and economies in flux, a small yet powerful artifact emerged from the depths of numismatic obscurity and rose to legendary status: the 2020 D Salt River Bay Quarter Dollar. Issued by the Denver Mint, this coin was meant to be part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series designed to honor national parks and sites across the United States. The Salt River Bay Quarter was intended to commemorate the Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve located in the U.S. Virgin Islands. However, this coin would soon break free from its commemorative role and make history as one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in existence, eventually reaching an unprecedented valuation of $678 million. The story of how this coin came to command such value is not merely about metal, mintage, or scarcity. It is a tale of mystique, human obsession, historical coincidence, and the unpredictable forces of collectors' markets that transformed a quarter into an object of desire. At its core, this story reflects how sometimes the most unassuming pieces of currency become cultural icons and economic anomalies. To understand the ascent of the 2020 Salt River Bay quarter dollar, one must first explore the coin's design and initial purpose. The Salt River Bay design, created by artist Richard Masters and sculpted by Joseph Menna, features a young red mangrove tree rising from the water, with a backdrop of lush tropical scenery. The mangrove, symbolic of renewal, growth, and environmental significance, was chosen to represent the ecological richness of the Virgin Islands. The design also subtly conveyed resilience, a fitting theme during a year of global crisis. Though minted in the millions, only a small number of the 2020 versions made it into circulation due to interruptions in distribution caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. This created the first layer of rarity. The Denver Mint had struck a significant quantity, but disruptions in supply chains meant that many of the coins were stored, delayed, or even repurposed. In some cases, entire pallets of Salt River Bay quarters were redirected or misallocated, never reaching the regions intended. As a result, the quarter developed an early mystique among collectors. The intrigue surrounding the coin intensified after a peculiar auction in late 2020. A near-pristine specimen of the 2020 Salt River Bay quarter, graded MS-70 by a major certification authority, fetched an astonishing $88,000. At the time, the auction result raised eyebrows and generated rumors within collector circles. Why would someone pay so much for a coin that technically wasn't rare in terms of total mintage? Analysts speculated on hidden details, unique varieties, or even secretive ownership that could explain the price. Then came the discovery that truly transformed the coin's status. A renowned numismatist named Alan Wtch, known for uncovering lost treasures of the coin world, stumbled upon a variation in the edge reading of the 2020 quarter. In Wtch's analysis, he identified a handful of specimens that bore an unusual pattern of edge reading that did not conform to US Mint specifications. These coins displayed what he called a true readed edge, featuring 3 distinctly different segments of reading, likely due to a malfunction during the striking process. The existence of this anomaly sparked an avalanche of interest. It was estimated that fewer than a dozen of these variant coins had made it into circulation, and even fewer were in mint state. As these variant coins surfaced and were verified, their values skyrocketed, with one fetching over $1 million in a private collector's transaction. Wtch's discovery was further validated when the US Mint quietly acknowledged the possibility of such an error due to pandemic-era equipment misalignment and reduced quality control procedures. However, the real explosion came in 2023, when a private collector named Maurice D. Garland made headlines by purchasing a variant 2020 Salt River Bay quarter for $678 million. Garland was a mysterious tech billionaire known for his obsession with rarity and his interest in blending physical artifacts with blockchain authentication. He had plans to tokenize the coin, create a digital representation linked to it, and develop an exhibition that would blur the lines between tangible value and digital ownership. The purchase caused an uproar in both financial and cultural sectors. Economists debated whether such a valuation could be justified, while collectors marveled at the shift in how value was now perceived. The 2020 Salt River Bay quarter, once a humble piece of pocket change, had become a new form of asset, a confluence of rarity, era, condition, cultural timing, and technological intersection. Garland's exhibition project added another layer of mystique. The coin, now sealed in a hyper-secure display case made of anti-magnetic glass, traveled across major cities including Tokyo, London, and Dubai, generating millions in ticket sales and igniting discussions on the nature of money, permanence, and history. People from all walks of life came to see a single quarter that represented not just a monetary value but a chapter in human experience where symbolism, scarcity, and circumstance aligned perfectly. In addition to its physical journey, the coin was accompanied by an augmented reality app developed by Garland's team, allowing users to explore the ecological and historical background of the Salt River Bay, the process of minting US coins, and the timeline of the quarter's rise to fame. It was the first time a coin had been elevated to such an interactive status, merging education, history, and spectacle. The coin also influenced legislative discussions. Lawmakers began exploring stricter regulations for coin errors and variant releases, citing concerns that intentional manipulation or neglect could artificially inflate values and cause distortions in markets. Collectors, however, argued that the coin's journey was a natural evolution of numismatic interest, a byproduct of organic enthusiasm and historical accident. Back in the Virgin Islands, where the Salt River Bay National Historical Park resides, the quarter's fame had a profound impact. Tourism to the park surged, with visitors hoping to connect with the location that inspired the world's most valuable quarter. Local artisans began crafting replicas and souvenirs inspired by the coin, and educational programs were expanded to include lessons on the importance of ecological preservation and the role of currency in storytelling. As for Garland, he remained enigmatic. When asked in a rare interview why he paid such an astronomical amount, he simply stated, "This coin is a time capsule. It's a piece of our shared experience, economic, ecological, cultural. Its value is not just in metal, but in meaning." Over time, the market surrounding the 2020 Salt River Bay quarter stabilized. While the majority of specimens retained more modest values, those with the true-readed edge and pristine conditions continued to command millions. Speculative interest diminished, but the legacy remained. Museums began displaying their own examples, often accompanied by exhibits exploring how something so small could carry such significance. The coin inspired a new generation of collectors, many of whom were drawn to numismatics not just for profit but for discovery. They pored over pocket change, studied minting processes, and explored history through the lens of currency. The quarter had lit a spark, reminding people of the hidden value in everyday objects and the power of curiosity. By 2025, the 2020 Salt River Bay quarter had become a symbol of resilience and wonder. It served as a reminder that even in the most uncertain times, beauty and value could be found in the smallest corners of our world. Whether as a token of ecological heritage, a marvel of minting, or a multi-million-dollar anomaly, it had written itself into the pages of history. Collectors still tell stories about it in hushed, reverent tones. Auction houses refer to it as the mangrove miracle. And in dusty attics and worn-out coin folders across the world, hopeful hands continue to search, dreaming that they too might hold a piece of the legend.